The views and opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect those of Into the Pit or the Vibes Broadcast Network. This show is intended for mature audiences. Please welcome your host, Coyote Knight.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Into the Pit. I have Mr. Drew Lee Nicholas all the way from the UK, and he's part of a group called Paranormal Postmortem. And we'd like to thank you for taking time out of your evening to be with us, Mr. Drew. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Coyote. I didn't have to say that in a different way tone, but hey, it might have worked. I'm doing great, buddy.
So how are things in the UK right now?
Things pretty bad weather. We got a bit of a storm coming, as we say, so it's gonna be wet, but we're pretty much getting spookier. You know what they say about wet weathers? You can see plenty of ghosts in wet weathers.
I hear you. Well, see, that's why you need to be here in Texas. Right now in good old Austin, it is like close to 70 degrees outside, nice and sunny, beautiful weather. So, and y'all are expecting a baby.
Definitely, yes, we are expecting a baby. Yep.
So you need to have that baby and get over here.
We do. We need to get our baby and come straight to Texas. We need to come and have some fun with you guys. Get the original cowboy boots out.
There you go. And then you can stuff me in a suitcase and take me back to the UK.
We'll definitely stuff you in there. We'll just literally go through the border system. We'll just tell them, it's okay. It's only for the lab science. It's all right. We'll just pass away.
So what you got going on right now?
Right now, so basically, me and Taylor's actually planning to do another major big investigation before Taylor pops away, as we should say, for the birth. The last final birth. But we live in Bristol, and for Paranormal Postmortem to go investigate on a big final destination for us to, because when Taylor's babies do, our babies do, well, we're planning to do a lot of major big last investigation, something big, really big this time, something really big for Paranormal Postmortem.
Okay, so are you keeping it hush-hush right now?
A little bit. I'm trying. Usually what I do for people on streaming on my Facebook page or streaming on for the YouTube, I usually try and keep it a session. And when I've done a location, it just pops them in the face like, oh, he's done this location, and it gives out the lovely surprise for them because they like it. And sometimes I do live now and then when I'm on an investigation. It's like when we done the Temple Church. We kept that hush hush, and then we had a good experience on that place. So I like doing stuff on hush hush now. So
well, I don't blame you.
It does work better.
And your wife Tila's keeping you in control?
The whips and chains, buddy. The whips and chains. I got some beautiful marks here.
So tell us a little bit about you, like where you grew up and then how you met your wonderful wife.
Okay, so me, I lived in Neath Talbot in part of Wales. So that's a bit of, I think a lot of people know where Wales is.
Yes.
But the side of my family, we're from more from the hilly sides, as we say it. We're more like the countrysides of it. God, I had a wild life dealing with where when I was a baby, we used to live not far off from coal miners, and Tila's like herself. She lived not far from coal miners. I traveled about all over the UK when I was a kid. So never had a chance to actually sit in one spot all my life. I always had a chance to go and journey the world. One of the best things I ever did though with my family, this is a little secret about me and my life, okay? I actually went around the whole United Kingdom and actually seen castles, dealing with histories. I know every single castles from Wales to England because it was part of my history, favorite life. But the little secret of it, I used to, as they used to say, I see dead people. that was a bit of a struggle in my life. So I'm a spiritualist. People called me, they called me psychic. I've been called premium psychic. I've been called a psychic medium. I've been called a medium, clairvoyance. I don't got a name for it. I basically do what I need to do with the spirits. That's all I am, a tool. So, but the whole point from that, I went around and journey it and experience it, shut down from the world, didn't want to show any more of it until I hit my 20 odds again. And I was cummed out even more. My other bit as well, how I met Tila. Now that's an interesting story.
Okay, I'm all ears.
An interesting story is basically after I moved around from England and I went back to Wales at the age of between 17, 18 years old. I was back and forth from Wales from 15 to 16 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I met Tila in my cousin's tattoo shop, and I was helping my brother out at the time because he had his own business, and she wanted a kind of a underage tattoo.
Mm.
So anyway, I started chatting to this girl, and this girl was like Tila, so it was really interesting. She was there because I was going through a bad relationship. And then after that, we separate for a little bit, and I was still looking for her. I couldn't find her anywhere, so I was like, okay, what's going on here? And I was thinking, where's this girl been? And a few years down the line, I met her again through a friend. I was about to go away to Norwich up in England to live with my father. The bigger point was my friend said, come and meet this people I knew, and I did. And we started flirting, chatting. Next minute, I asked her out, and it lead from that then.
Yeah.
And everyone in East Talbot, this is known as God's true story. When she got with me, everyone in East Talbot put it. She couldn't put her hands down. Everyone was waving at her everywhere because I was that popular in East Talbot. They were such a happy because I met someone who I actually really, really fall in love with. And then I popped the question to get engaged. I took it out. I went to a restaurant. I went down on one knee and swallowed my guts and said, well, if this is the right girl, then let's make this happen. And I did. And that's how I met this gorgeous girl.
It must have been a really good restaurant for her to say yes, huh?
My mate actually owns a massive business in Newport. He actually owns one of the best 5-star restaurants in Newport on the beach.
Nice. That's
So,
pretty awesome. And then how did you find out that y'all had the paranormal in common?
So in Wales, I was living on my own and stuff started happening weird. We had a big shadow, black shadow, had red eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was seeing it, and then she couldn't see it at one point because she was so interested in this, as we call love. We were so, when you've occupied your mind is going to be very occupied. But then she started seeing it a few days later down the line, and she was saying it's something there. Doors started slamming. I started getting worse nightmares. I didn't want to be in that house anymore. I was getting scared at one point. So we looked into it. We started investigating. We knew some stuff out there. And then when we moved to Pembrokeshire, so there's a part of different Wales again, we moved to this house in Pembroke, and scrams were appearing on my back. So this is how interesting it is. I left that house in Petolba and moved to Pembrokeshire.
Mm-hmm.
That red and black shadow was following me all the time. Scrams were happening in this Pembroke house on my back a lot. Motions was, I was getting really depressed and quite a bad depression. And then basically we started to investigate in the area. we started to do paranormal investigation in his house.
Mm-hmm.
And we were speaking to this old lady, and she actually showed me a picture of a plane where it was no Spitfires being made back in them days, and you could see the plane was on top of the building, and it was not an actual full-sighted plane. It was a ghost plane. So I started digging and digging, and then I just crack on with the paranormal investigation. We kept it quiet from everyone. We'd done quiet paranormal investigations, and then we just started getting into it, basically normal. And the spirits were chatting to me and Tila, and we were working hard. And we just started cracking down, learning about demonology, understanding it, how it's what can be right and what feels wrong in our world. So basically, have you ever, you know Ed Warren and Lynn Warren? Obviously, a lot
Yes.
of people do. Ed Warren is a big vantage for me because I got a demonologist, which is Ben White. What's his name again? Ben Winfield. He's a lovely guy, straight up to earth. Because he's helping me speak in Latin as well, and that's part of mine. That's part of me. You know, it's going through all that. So Ed Warren was a big vantage for me because studying this type of in this sort of field, you got to understand it's two different ways about it. You can speak about demons, negative, or the energy, how it works, why they do it, and what's the reasons. And the reason why I was getting scrammed because I was going through a bad time, and I was getting so how can I say it? So attached to the house and so attached to the emotions. The spirit was actually feeding it. It was like feeding. It was feeding all the energy. He was feeding all the negative, and I was picking that energy, and then he was making that. He was basically eating me like a food. And then after I left that house, I had someone else who lived there at that time, and then they had the same situation happen to them, and it was very, very negative to the point. It was very negative. We were like, yeah, we're going to have to leave. I couldn't cleanse the house. I couldn't do anything. So we left. And then we moved up to a different part of town. And then we filled ourselves who we were. And we actually was in this is how weird this was. We were actually in one of the most haunted houses in my location in Nayland in Pembrokeshire. It was actually classed as one of the most haunted houses for us.
Oh, that's
We had
crazy.
several paranormal teams there until it was officially getting scrammed on camera. And Few Eyes, they called it the Scram Queen because we asked them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or wound the situation up, which you should never do. But what I tell people is, how would you know if there's actual spirits there? If you know, how can you prove it? And we tell people this is how we do it. As that's how actually I got into the paranormal field. That's how it leaded into the paranormal field.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we started winding the situation up and experimenting a lot of things, using a lot of things. And we have to think about it very carefully. But people say, oh, be careful, be careful. And I'm like, you can't just be careful because this is what you do in the field. At the end of the day, you got to think about it. You can try anything. You could be nice, you could be respectful. But at the end of the day, you're an investigator. You got to dig that question out. If it's going to hit the worst, then you got to be prepared for the worst. You can't just go into a location and say, I'm a paranormal investigator.
True.
You got to understand how you play in the field. So that's why I tell a lot of people when we're dealing with stuff like that, it gets really interesting. It does. It gets crazy for us. And this is how it all begun for me and Taylor. And we just got out there wide and started experimenting locations and buildings and castles and And we had some good outcomes and some negative outcomes, and yeah.
So was that how post paranormal was basically, or paranormal postmortem? Pardon me. Was that how it was born? Was that first investigation, or did that come later on?
So paranormal postmortem, we had a different name at the time, but it was such a crap long name, and it really didn't stick, and I kept forgetting the words. So
I still remember.
she still remember it, but there was me going on live saying, "Come and check out this such a name crap. What is it, Teal?"
It was Grim Reaper Hooded Paranormal Investigators.
And I had a phone call. This is how funny this is, Karen. I had a phone call, and it was a house on top of Nayland was getting haunted, and I was leaving a note for it, and this other paranormal group actually threatened me. This is how funny this was.
Oh no.
I left a note and said, "Hey, I'm a paranormal investigator. My team is called da." And he actually started threatening me because my name is called Grim Reaper Hoodie Paranormal. And I was like, but that was just a name. I told him I was a paranormal investigator. He came up to me, and I remember this. And we're like, I was saying to my wife, and I said, we need a different name. We need a different name. And I can't remember who stashed there.
One of our tech guys who was fixing our laptop
Yeah.
suggested, but I have to start with it. Then his little son, who was disabled, he designed the logo for us.
He literally designed the logo, so we're like, we decided to take the logo on off them and said we'll support it. And next minute, the name got out there massively, and people in 2017, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
In 2017, Paranormal Postmodern was reborn into this world.
Sweet. And what's been your biggest case to date?
The biggest case is of all of them, like literally of all of them.
Yeah, of all the ones you've done, what's been the biggest one, the most active?
The most very active is when I got two of them because this one actually linked. So basically, it's like if you think about it, it's like the Conjuring film. The two Conjurings were linked, weren't they? In a way. This is very, very honest and true because we have the evidence and the experiment. I had a phone call in the late 2018. I had a phone call, and it's just the summertime, and we've been asked to go down and investigate this house. And it was very funny stuff started happening. Me, Taylor, and a little third party, which is her investigation, but she offered us to come down because we dealt with all things. This happened in Norwich in England. So we come look in this house, and straight away I looked up to the window and I said, something's not right in this house. This is not making enough sense. I said, I could see a lot of dark areas, a lot of dark motions. And Taylor's getting the same emotions. It was starting to attack Taylor. As soon as she hit through the door.
I got bitten from that.
Yeah. So as soon as she hit through the door, she went into this room on the upstairs on the second floor. This door can usually open easy. It wouldn't open. So they went in the room together, the owner and Taylor, and the owner and Taylor actually got bitten. Taylor actually got bitten on her hand.
Oh no.
And she got scrowned. And the other party, who was, which is really interesting, the biggest case of this one was she went up the attic, and next minute we seen it being pulled.
No kidding.
And next minute, she had a seizure, her eyes were quite rolled up to her head. Her behavior language started changing, speaking backward Nancy's is called backward Nancy's language, and we call it possession, like everyone else, but I wasn't even kidding to you. It was an actual full-on real possession.
No.
It wasn't no bull crap. It took us about 7-8 hours to get her back to herself again.
That long?
That long.
God. So
And
let me stop you for a second. While I'm still thinking about it, the bite that she had on her hand, did you get a picture of it?
we had a picture, yep, and it's in our archives. So we got an archive system in our system. We got a picture of her.
Okay, you got to send me that picture, man. I got to see it.
I definitely will. I'll definitely get that picture up for you. I'll send it.
I'm sorry I cut you off, but I was really curious about that. So go ahead and finish your story.
That's okay. It's okay. This is where the game really begins. That's what we say. This is where the game really begins. But lucky enough, I know people say it's about religions and cleansing, but I took a little safety precaution. Just brought some holy water and a cross, and just bring some prayers we have dealt with in Wicker Land, and I call it a Wicker Land. But just to try and help her as much as I can.
Dang. So estimate, how many investigations have you done over the years?
Over the years, in my counting, because I was first getting like lady every day, about 700.
700?
Yes.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Monday to Sunday, every week, every day. I never failed one.
Wow. Okay, I gotta go to the UK and hang out with you then.
Oh yeah, I wasn't really worried about like what people were saying. They heard about us. They let us do what we need to do. We've been to locations where the council. We spoke to the council and we were like, because we call them council down here. So they basically own our land.
Mm-hmm.
And you need some permissions to go to some areas. So lucky enough, the council were like, yeah, they were happy for me and Teal and my team to go anywhere. And even this will make you smile. Even an author from a book gave us a call and he asked us to go investigate his whole book, where he's been to his locations, and we actually took that contract on.
Oh, now that is cool.
So, and I was by GL Gavney Davis? GL Davis, the horror fan for West.
So, mayors and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, we had mayors as well. We had mayors working with us. We had literally like a lot of people behind us. So we're like very connected around. Even the churches were behind us.
Oh, wow. So it's fair to say that you're pretty popular over there.
Yeah, in some places. We did have one situation with the paranormal team. As you know, it's very lot of bullying going on in the paranormal field.
Unfortunately, yes.
Basically, it was two paranormal teams basically lied about stuff, and it got a little bit harder for us because they lied about false information. And it made us hard a little bit if they had a name, because they like to speak, excuse my way of appreciation after this, they like to speak out their back toes of this, and then I didn't want to really swear, so.
It's okay if you accidentally let one slip, it's no problem.
So basically they spoke of the areas, and we still get lucky sometimes because of the troubles they've done. They made it harder for us to work with people now. But some people still like to work with us because they still think we are pretty good. And that's what maybe that's some good news. But in the paranormal field, it just gets hard. You got to be careful in the paranormal field. They
Well,
use it as a weapon, not like a.
it's a shame because people will see another group that's kind of popular and that are really busy and getting stuff out there, and they get jealous.
That's what happened.
Yeah, to me, more power to you, because you might come up with some new ideas and say, hey, we're trying this, why don't you give it a shot? And you know it could really
That's
be
why
beneficial.
I give a lot of people in the paranormal field, believe it or not, I actually give a lot of paranormal teams good ideas, and I actually have done it, and they say, "Oh, that was a pretty good idea," and you just get stabbed in the back there when you hear bull crap.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. I don't know why it has to be that way, but it's like that over here too. And then
Definitely, it's just horrible. It's horrible. No one should be doing that. I get very offended. It's Ed Warren. This is why I like Ed Warren. This is why he got a bit nasty with a lot of things, because um, if you notice in one of his films, and this is an honest God true stories, he was doing art therapy because he started having all these anger emotions coming out of him and all the fear. The Conjuring 2, that's the one. He started doing all his art therapy, listening to his dreams, but also was helping his anger issues out, because it was a bit stressful. I get where he's coming from. He's a bit worried about his wife. The bigger situation was basically it was a lot of people in the paranormal field starting to make crap up sometimes or cause a lot of problems in the field. And with him, he puts his foot down straight. He's basically, I'm the same person. I would do the same thing. I put my foot down straight. If I got something to say, I will say it. Don't like it. There's my front door. It's the type of thing. And if the end of the day, I was doing a house investigation with someone with a different, I can't say no names. Basically, they didn't believe all in the religion. And I can't really explain how it works, but I basically said, this is not right. They were saying something about child. And I think it lead off about that then. It basically, because I said it needs some probably mental health, or someone needs to look into it a bit more. I was trying to back away from it, but it got to me when I want to explain about it, but it's really hard. When I hear someone saying a child is possessed, that takes it too many lines.
yes,
Because children are innocent, but children not possessed. And it hurts me. It hurts me when I hear a parent or anyone saying the child is possessed. I do look into it and I do open up, and two other mediums, claim mediums, I call them, basically false mediums. It gets me emotion. It gets me emotion.
yeah,
Because a child, I don't believe a child will actually, because it constantly cries and it's constantly afraid of something, or it's going through emotion time. But I don't think a child will never get possessed on that line, because how much of the guardians and spirits will be there.
yeah. My personal belief is when you hit that age of accountability, then I think maybe you're opened up to the possibility of possession. But before then, and I could be wrong, but I just think they do have some sort of protection because they're more innocent and they're closer to God.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
that makes sense. No, that makes no sense, because that's what I was trying to say to him. But I said it, correctly the way I said it. Mental health need to be that tell the truth assessment, a decent assessment needed to be done properly. They said they had council and all that checking their house out. I did try and help them cleansing, but you know, you have to go with whatever you got, really, innit?
Yes, you do. You really do. So, and if everybody is listening out there and they don't know it, Drew and I are actually friends. I mean, we've only been able to talk over video chat, but you know, I feel like we've kind of gotten close, and I feel comfortable talking to him, and vice versa. I'm so excited because after his baby comes along, they're planning on coming to America and visiting Texas, and we're going to take him around. We're going to teach him how to talk like a real Texan, and he's probably going to try to teach me to talk like I'm from the UK. We'll exchange. But no, seriously, we've become pretty good friends, and we don't have any problem communicating back and forth if we have an idea, or you know, just to discuss these things. And I know there's a lot of personal things that we've talked about that you don't want to get out there, and I respect that. So anytime you get to that point where you feel like, you know what, I don't want to talk about this any further, don't hesitate to say so.
I know that feeling. Yeah, but I just want people to know the truth, what the paranormal field is really about.
Yeah.
You know, the two legends are dead now. So, you know, the two major legends, great paranormal investigators, king and queen of it all. You know, they passed away, and they are happy with the paranormal field, but because they're dead, people do forget sometimes what is the paranormal field really about.
Well, it's supposed to be a community that's helping each other help other people. That's my opinion.
That's what it's all really about. It's supposed to be help and support and guidance. I'm just having a drink of water.
No problem. I have to have something to drink or I go hoarse. Speaking of legends, have you gotten any kind of cases where there's been a legend behind it and you've been able to disprove it?
Taylor? Did you hear that?
No.
You want to say that again, please?
She's ignoring both of us right now. No, but I was
This is not fair. This is cruel to us, isn't
it? My wife does the same thing to me, so don't feel bad. No, I was saying, you know, have you gotten a case where there's a legend behind it and you've gone out there, you've done an investigation, and you've disproven the legend?
I think we did, didn't we, at one point?
I think we're kind of in the middle of doing that one with the temple church.
With the temple church?
Yeah, we're in the middle of doing that one.
So it's going to be the temple church.
Okay.
The legend of the temple church. So have you ever heard about the temple church, the Templars?
I've heard of the Templars, but I've not heard what you're talking about, that legend.
So, Taylor, if you want to help on this one.
Well, we got a church down where we live, which apparently there was a exorcism done on one guy who apparently had 7 demons in him.
And this was absolutely a legend.
He required 7 priests to get them all out.
Okay. And so you went in, you did the investigation. Did you just not find anything, or were you able to figure something else out?
So
the only thing that happened so far was the 2 men that was there got really ill.
That's nice how you say it like that. The 2 men got really ill. That was really nice.
Hey, she's straight and to the point, man.
She is. That's just cruel for me. Sorry.
And that's all I got to say about that. I'm sorry. What did she say?
Sorry, I just can't stop laughing.
We have fun together. That's why I like talking to you. And let me tell you, I've told this guy before that he could get out the phone book and read it, and I would sit there and listen to it because I just love to hear his accent and how he talks. So, laugh. Let's laugh. Let's have a good
Definitely
time.
money right there. I love you guys' accent. I think the other day we were talking about the FBI stuff, and it's with your wife, and
Yeah, that's inside joke, guys. So just letting y'all know out there.
Okay, so
I think we also done it in Lovely Palace.
Lamphy Palace was a really good one as well. It was a legend there.
Yeah, Archbishop Hall.
No, Archbishop Davis,
St. David.
Mr. St. David, didn't it?
Those are Paul whatever.
The thing we cracked down with the temple churches, this is how creepy this went. Okay, so we done an investigation, we were doing a spirit box and all that, and our part 2's coming up. We're basically cracking it down from part 1 to part 2, and this is really interesting. Me and my other colleague, we both come ill at the same time.
Oh
But Taylor was okay.
Yeah, you both have the same symptoms: the tiredness, the
Nightmares.
the no energy.
Literally the same time. And then, when we were trying to get him more weirdly, a cross turned up from middle of nowhere on the field.
It was next to where I was standing.
And Taylor got
Whoa.
in the middle of it.
Okay, now you got my mind blown.
Now, and I was thinking, what the crap is going on here?
Yeah.
Me and my other colleague, we felt very nervous because we stand out to the cross and we put Taylor in the cross, and literally we got ill, but Taylor never got touched.
And the K2 was going off on demand then as I was standing in the cross.
Man. So, what's your favorite equipment that you use?
Mine's the K2.
The K2? Kind of
Mine's
enjoy
EVP.
that myself.
Mine's EVP recorded. Straight up answers.
Oh, yeah. Well, I find a lot of people that even though we have all this technology, they like to go old school, which I don't blame them. It's kind of more fun to me, I guess.
Old school's fun.
We only use 3 pieces of equipment: Spirit box, K2, and an EVP recorder. That's all we take with us.
What I like to tell everyone, old school is better on the new school. I seen all these new school stuff, and I said, really, they're not giving me an actual proper answer yet. They're not really giving me a full answer. And a lot of people ask me why, and I said, think about it. You've got all this technology, and people say, your photo editor shop. I put a photo up, and couple of days ago, and no one couldn't see what I couldn't see. Now you have some pareidolia in it, and then you actually had something in it on the right-hand corner.
Now, was that in the theater?
Yep.
Okay.
I was literally there on my own. I was sitting there on my own.
I popped to the toilet.
Till it popped to the toilet.
Well, see, the reason why I brought that up too was because when you posted that picture, I sat there and I looked. Of course, my eyesight ain't the best, and I have to go get glasses again. So I'm like, okay, I'm missing it. And if I tell him I don't see nothing, I'm going to feel stupid. If he says, oh, it's right there, can't you see it?
No, I don't know with someone though, but it's not making me feel stupid is when our minds can really think, hey, it's just nothing there. But if they really put their mind to it and let them really concentrate on it, they'll start recognizing the figures. They'll start recognizing, because I admit on the pictures, I assumed right then, and I was thinking, right, there's some pareidorias here. But then on the right-hand corner, where the people were saying it was lights, now them lights only light just black lights. They basically UV lights. That's all it is.
Okay.
In fact, there's the camera, and I was speaking to someone about it, and I had my own light on, And as I was taking the picture, something wasn't right in the room. So I took a picture, and on the right-hand corner, I don't know if people seen it, but it was like people sitting down and the person standing up. And it was like, it wouldn't show me the full figure,
Mhm.
but it was showing like a misty figure type of people. So it was really interesting because we don't class it as not full panel, but we class it as something because the way it was sitting down and then one was bending, just
Mhm.
sitting like standing over. So we were like, that's something, but only if them lights were off.
You should share that to my page so people can look at it.
Definitely, I will share it to your page, but definitely.
Okay, so I don't want to start an argument between you, but do y'all ever argue over evidence?
Oh, hell yeah. All the time.
All the time?
Sometimes I can't hear or see what he can hear and see.
And literally,
But then again, I see different to you.
it's how we work in different ways. Me and Tila argues all the time. It's like, yeah, no, this is it. No, that's it. Sometimes she wins, sometimes I win. We have to get like our team involved, and they'll be like, yo, do you know which one? And our team goes like, no, this is it. So our team argues then for a little bit, and then we all decide to go and make a decision, and we're like, fuck it, yes, no, sorry about the language.
That's okay.
Basically like that, and we'll decide, yeah, let's be strong on this one, and we all agree that we all can come to a line. And it takes about 3 days to get agreement.
The longest.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, the longest it can take is about a week.
So when you win the argument, do you end up having to sleep on the couch?
No, I end up sleeping on the floor.
Be on the floor.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Thursday.
The baby kicking me all the time.
You've got a little paranormal investigator in training.
Inside it, yeah.
He's already been called the Power Baby.
Yeah, he's been named the Para Baby.
The para baby?
Yeah, everyone keeps calling him the Para Baby.
Well, I'm still going to call him Kyle when he comes out, so.
Okay.
And
I
Tila says,
cannot argue with that.
and Tila says, oh, hell no.
What are you saying?
Well, the name was picked pretty good. It suits him perfectly. Logie.
No, his name's Kyle now.
Logie Kyle.
Careful, might get shot in Texas now. I'm only joking, guys.
Merge the name in there somewhere.
And see, I started teasing Drew the other day. I said, you know what? If her name is Tila, that makes you He-Man.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I was actually quite happy someone knows where my name comes from. Normally I got to explain where it comes from.
And people knows why they call me He-Man, because I lift the car off his 2 wheels. That's an honest truth.
And for the younger folks that might be listening, if you don't know who He-Man is, then get on YouTube and look it up, and then you'll see why I call him He-Man, because Tila was one of the characters.
The Princess Warrior.
She's not a real princess, she's a pain in the butt. Don't worry about it, people.
Me on that one. Maybe.
Nah, she's a lovely woman, guys. She's a lovely woman. She's cute as heck.
Yeah, she's awesome. What's that?
I think I'll be on the floor tonight.
Yeah, you're going to be on the floor, buddy. Or you're going to be on the next plane to Texas and have to sleep over here.
I'd be happy to come there. I've been told, though, just give you guys some. So I went to my GP, my doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and my vitamin D's down. So I'm like, this, okay, what caused it? And he said, not eating the right stuff on there. So I was like, interested. I eat a lot of stuff with vitamin D. And he went, this, not much sunlight. So I said to him, if I go to Texas, would that mean I can get loads of sunlight? And he said, that'll be plenty for you. Because it's basically sunlight that helps your vitamin D.
Well, you know, I take vitamins every day, so I try to keep all that up. And you get out here in this sun, you get plenty of it.
Definitely come down there. Definitely have a bit of a whale time.
So tell me a little bit about the shows that y'all get over there, because I know we get every once in a while a few of the paranormal shows. There was one that used to come on our BBC channel over here, and it was quite a few investigators on it, and I can't remember the name of it. But do y'all have a lot of those shows?
We have quite a bit. We see more of a lot now on TV. We used to see one or two of British, but it's mainly more American.
It used to be Most Haunted. They travel the world.
Most Haunted was one of the biggest.
Okay.
They went around the world, so you've probably seen that one. If Fielding,
Also known as the Scream Queen.
also known as the Screaming Queen,
I got you.
because she screamed. So Derek Cole, sadly the guy passed away.
Oh no.
He was their medium.
He was the medium of Most Haunted.
Okay.
But we've mainly seen a lot of Taps and Ghost Adventures.
And we've also got Paranormal Lockdown.
Paranormal Lockdown. It's not many paranormal British TV. They're usually all on now.
Not American based.
Well, it's not all of American based. It's mainly the British all ones now are usually on Amazon or well, yeah, mainly it's all on Amazon.
Yeah, it's all fine.
But we do get to see a lot of Americans, that's why I like the Americans as well.
Americans are more into the
I gotta admit, the USA's, you guys are very strong into it more than the British. But since Paranormal Postmortem and since all these paranormal teams around Britain, something's happened and people are now liking it more and more. So, there's a lot of good things, but.
Well, let's face it, y'all have more history there. And, the castles and things like that. I mean, look at all the history that you have. There's bound to be something there.
We got the castles, but I agree to one point, and I learned this in my history class when I was doing my exams for it. In every county, in every country, is always something historicals. For our point of vantage, we were more into the kings and queens. For the Americans, you guys were more in for cowboys and Indians and tribes, and which is really awesome stuff. And for some other countries, it could be into all different types. But what makes the history of it is us, the people. And it's the most important thing to remember that, because we've all got that same type of history, but our country's done it very differently.
same history, laid out differently.
Yeah, it's laid out differently. That's all it is. Same history, laid out differently. If you think about it, going back to the king and queen days, they would have dressed very differently. In America, they would have done the same, but you guys would have been more adventurous. In the UK, they were very upper classes, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And very arsey white type of thing. Sorry to say that about the UK. But it's the honest God truth. No people can actually say this. I remember one guy was telling me once, and I was going, because he said Wales never get bombed. We go to the bloody locations and we find out Wales was getting bombed.
Pembroke Dock, where we used to live, we first started as well. They had war bunkers and stuff.
So, and there's a story there. Again, it's a history. It's a lesson. And I like doing that. So, yeah.
Okay, one more question. What is your favorite American paranormal show?
It's pretty hard because I do like Nick Roth a lot. He's straight up and he's quite funny as heck. I gotta admit, Lockdown is the best, especially his medium. My Days, she's epic. Let you straight down. I also like a bit of
I like Ghost Adventures.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But
I like the first couple of episodes of Ghost Adventures more.
what bugs me is, and as me as a paranormal investigator, as me who's understanding demontology as well, and who actually got someone who understands, who works a lot with it. I think I like Zach. I remind him. I go, George is a good friend of mine who works with Zach.
Mm-hmm.
He basically keeps saying in some of his programs where I was watching, he was constantly getting possessed. And I got a bit annoyed with it because he just can't get possessed and over possessed. Because when someone gets cleansed, the body's going to be cleansed at least about for a couple of months in line. And then, but if it's being possessed all the time, then it's going to be interesting. But why would the spirits possess that one person like every time? What
Well,
would be the reason for it?
They always equal him out of the 4 people there.
Yeah, it always equals him out. So, say like one of the guys, camera guys, let's use one of the camera guys, I would understand it. The sack got possessed, and then 5 weeks later down the line, the camera guy got possessed, then that'll make a difference. But every time he goes to a location, that did got me a bit worried about it. Because I was thinking, is he starting to...
That's why I like the earlier series of it.
But I love the guy. I gotta admit, he's really good. He did do a good job.
Yeah.
I admit, but also Nick Roth is my favorite though.
Nick used to work with that.
Yeah, true. But Nick Roth is the best. I gotta admit, he is pretty good. And he does do the lining of the work in pretty well.
Oh yeah, Nick and Katrina, I love those two.
Definite Nick Roth and Katrina.
And I really want to get Nick on the show. So pass
Hey
that
Nick,
on.
if you're listening to the show, please go up.
That would be interesting.
You got to pass that word along for me.
Well, I know someone who actually worked with Nick Roth. Yeah, we know one of his camera guys, and we actually know another person who meets up with him a lot. So I'll PM him. I supposed to have done that last week.
Yeah, I have no shame. I'm going to use my buddies any way I can.
I respect and ask him. It's like George. He sent a video to Zach Bake for me because he enjoyed my live shows, the way I act.
The energy and stuff we put into it.
The energy and stuff into it. But before we actually change anything, but my best paranormal investigators, and I will say this to anyone, is Ed and Lynn Warren.
Yeah,
one of the best.
Ed and Lorraine will always win.
They always will win because they are natural.
Yeah.
And I looked up to them. I do look up to them. Well, straight up.
That is awesome. Now, before we end the show, we can find you on Facebook at Paranormal Postmortem.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Now, y'all have a YouTube channel?
Yep, you'll find me on Paranormal Postmortem on YouTube as well.
Okay. And you have an email that people can reach you at?
Yep, you can look me up at Paranormal Postmortem at Gmail.
Paranormal Postmortem 1817 at gmail.com.
That's the one.
Or 1718.
Well, believe it or not, our hour is up.
Oh, no.
I know. It just flies by, man.
Right.
But I want you to feel free to post anything on our pages. You have anything coming up, put it on there. We're glad to promote you. And
we'll do the same for you.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I really do. And I'm looking forward to your next live event. I've missed out on seeing you today. I seen that you came on live, but I was too late. I was in the middle of doing something. But
that's okay. That's okay. There'll be plenty more for you.
Oh yeah.
There'll be plenty more.
Oh, I got to get on there and tease you. You know that.
Oh, definitely. It makes me giggle every time we see someone on our lives.
Yeah, Kira constantly the lives and shouts in the comments.
Kira just shouts the comment and I just try not to laugh, and I'm like, I'm gonna laugh. Bugger it.
I'm gonna make you crack up one of these days.
You are. You are. You nearly done it the other day on my live with the butt thing and then
Yeah, colder than the well digger's butt.
the code and well diggers butt. That's the one. That was
I could tell when Tila was reading it to you, she's like, what the hell does he mean by that?
yeah. Literally.
Well, Drew and Tila, I really, really appreciate you being on the show. We're going to get you back on in the future. And
I've been looking forward to it.
you
It's
have
great
a,
on.
you have a really, really interesting case that comes up that you just busting at the seams to tell people about. Let me know and we'll get you on here so you can talk about it.
I will do. It'll be a pleasure.
So to my viewers and my listeners out there, thank you for joining us and keep a watch out for the next episode. Bye.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for joining us on Into the Pit. Please follow us on Facebook at the Vibes Broadcast Network and Instagram at the Vibes Broadcast.